Hello, hello, adventurers, and welcome back to the Dragon's Lair. This will be the final, we'll say human, player that I make for this series. So next video will be the items video, and that will be the final video of the series. Our time together for this series is coming to a close, but it hasn't yet. So, let's jump right into it, shall we? I didn't mention who I was talking about. Let's not jump right into it, shall we? Severus Snape. Let's jump right into it, shall we? Starting up with strength. Spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1, we should be good. It's kind of a general staple for wizards to not use strength, so there's that. Yeah, I mean, when you look at him, he doesn't shout, strong. He doesn't whisper, strong. No. But I'm not going to count that against him, right, like, heavily, because just because he doesn't look like he's strong doesn't mean he's not strong. I have a friend of mine in mind, but I'm not going to name names, because I'm evil. Yeah. Yeah. So, there's that. The only thing I can think of for, like, strength-based things would be the deflecting of spells rather than, like, dodging. Which is a concept that's really weird. How you can just go, nah. Like, I don't understand. But whatever. I'm gonna give it to him. That being said, I don't really think that's a strength-based thing. I would argue it's more constitution-based because, like, it's almost like the Patronus Ward. Mm-hmm. I'll get into that later. So yeah, for his strength score, I would go like 8 to 10, maybe 12. Theoretically, if you were to think that the deflecting of spells was more of a strength-based thing, you could go 14. Either way, I wouldn't put it super, super high. But that's just me. Moving into dexterity. He doesn't really use this a whole lot either. Spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1. He doesn't really dodge spells. There's not really a whole lot of that going on. I spent a long, long while trying to figure out who Snape went to the Yule Ball with. I couldn't find anyone. I found an extra scene. I don't know if it was real or not because I don't remember it. But I found an extra scene of him not at the Yule Ball with anyone, but explicitly outside of the Yule Ball, crashing other people's parties, which I could totally believe.
Who did he go with?
I don't think he went at all. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he was there.
No.
Because, like, even Hagrid got the French woman.
A really tall one.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing they had in common.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, moving on. I don't think he went to the Yule Ball with anyone. If he did, we didn't get to see him dance. No. So, there's that. He doesn't sneak around a whole lot. He likes stalking the hallways at night in the dark, but, you know, he doesn't sneak about it.
No.
He just does it. Just gonna creepily walk in the hallway at midnight. Okay, weird flex, but okay. But yeah, he doesn't stealth the whole lot. He doesn't use dexterity. He doesn't care. So yeah, I'm gonna put it at like 8 to 12, just kind of middling, because he doesn't use it. Not that he's necessarily bad at it, but he doesn't do it. So yeah, 8 to 12. Moving into Constitution. I would argue that it's alright, and the main reason being the deflection of spells, like I mentioned earlier. Like, as I said, I think it ties in more with the Patronus, and kind of like using that to ward things off of you. Because like the whole deal with the Patronus was like you draw on your memories, your good memories, and that wards away the Dementors. Well, I think it's kind of the same concept with deflecting spells. You draw on your physicality as a spellcaster to just be able to say no. But, you know, I could be misreading it, and you could have your own opinions about it. Feel free to let me know down in the comments below as to what exactly you think it should be. I'm curious to know how else it could be spun off. But because of what I'm saying for his Constitution, I'm going to say it's probably higher at like 14 to 16. But, as I said, that's just kind of my opinion of it. Moving into Intelligence. Spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1, we should be good. He seems to know quite a bit. He bounces around from class to class to class, teaching multiple different things. Like, he starts with, like, potions. What was another one? He went from potions to defense against the dark arts. What was the other one? I think I have it written there. If you want to view.
Potions, defense, and dark arts. That's the only two.
That's it? He did another one. I forget what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that time to 300, page 394, but that's it. That was a big scene, I don't know why. So.
I don't remember either.
But he taught, like, almost everything, though.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing he didn't teach was, like, botany.
Mm-hmm.
So, he bounced around a lot. Which just kind of proves that he knows different things. He taught Harry how to, ward from Voldemort peering into his mind. It's creepy, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he taught him how to do that. He was smart enough to play both sides, so he always came out on top. Until he didn't. That's unfortunate. It was really just a misunderstanding of how that works, too. Mm-hmm. Because as I said, well, in my next video, these are shot out of order. They're really not most of the time, but today they were. Yeah. Like, he just knows a couple different things, right? So because of that, I'm going to put his intelligence at relatively high, somewhere around 18 to 20, probably. Because he knows things that he really has no business knowing, like how to keep someone from protruding into your mind. Like, I don't understand how he would know that, but he does. I guess he reads a lot. Moving into wisdom. This is kind of an up-in-the-air statistic. Like, I don't know. I would say he's alright at it, right? I mean, he knows how to put things into practice. Like, he's able to brew potions. He's able to, like, teach someone how to do something. So obviously he knows how to do it. But, you know, we don't really get to see a whole lot of, like, really put into the real world things with him. He doesn't appear in very many, like, action-based scenes, we'll say. So there's not a whole lot we can go off of. Because of that, because of what we know he was able to do, I'm going to put his score at, like, 12 to 14. That keeps it from being average or negative, because we've seen him do things, we just didn't get to see a ton of it. So there's assumably more that he does that we just kind of don't know about. Moving into charisma, right? I didn't miss anything?
No.
Okay, cool. Moving into charisma. I would say he relies on the statistic quite a bit. Spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1. We should be good. He's charismatic enough to be able to play both sides, so he always comes out on top, right? Like, he's a really well trusted advisor of Dumbledore. He's also pretty high up in the ranks of Snape, of Voldemort. So, I mean, yeah. Then you tie in, like, the intimidation factor for the students, and how all three of our main characters were like, I don't trust him. Because mainly they were afraid of him being evil, because Slytherin and bad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, he's a pretty intimidating professor, especially when he's walking around the halls at night, in the dark. Like he does so often. Really, dude, use a light. Come on, bro. I swear. But, like, yeah, he can be pretty intimidating. I mean, tie in the fact that he knows how to persuade people to give him positions of power, and he knows how to deceive people into thinking that he's good when he's bad or bad when he's good. It just seems to me like he's pretty good with charisma. Either that or very, very lucky.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's just kind of my opinion of it. As such, I'm going to place his charisma at somewhere around 18 to 20. Moving into the straightforward build, he's obviously going to be a human. I'm going to say a normal human because of his average and slightly above average statistic block for everything. There were a couple of skills he was, like, really, really good in, but there wasn't anything that he was, like, bad in that wouldn't, like, outweigh. So I think a +1 to everything would be very useful for him. As for the class, I'm going to have to go wizard with a specific thing for evocation. I think I mentioned divination too, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can see what I was going for there, because at times he almost seems to be able to peer through like the cloak of invisibility and that sort of thing. Like he knew Harry was out and about using the Marauders map at night at one point in time. But, that's neither really here nor there. I think a better thing to go down would probably be enchantment. So you could get people to like believe what you had to say and get people on your side more so. But I would still probably go with evocation. That seems to make the most sense to me, especially with an emphasis in necrotic damage types, more so than necromancy with like erasing things from the dead, but like damage dealing with an emphasis in necrotic damage. As for the conceptual build, Chill, you want to help me out here? What race?
Dark elf.
Dark elf. Yeah, that makes sense. Deals with night a lot. Kind of generally viewed as scary, that sort of thing. They gain a +2 to charisma, I believe.
I believe so.
It should be there. Somewhere.
Not for the dark elf.
What does it say?
Oh, it's a +1 for charisma.
+1 to charisma, yes. +2 to dex because elf. Mm-hmm. They also gain like spell casting of their own and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. They do have sunlight sensitivity, yes. Which is bad, yes. But they gain superior dark vision, which is really nice. So there's that. Were there any other races for him?
There was high elf with a +1 to intelligence.
Yeah, that's if you're going more wizard build. Mm-hmm. And I can see it as well because he's very pale, has relatively longer hair, but at the same point in time, he also kind of gives this sense of like self-confidence and assurance, and it's not all the time kind of earned for him. There are times where he shouldn't be as self-confident as he is, but he's self-confident anyway, which kind of ties him with the high elf. They also gain spellcasting ability. They do not have sunlight sensitivity, which is nice, but they also don't have superior dark vision, which is not nice. Yeah.
Tiefling has the +2 to charisma and +1 to intelligence.
That's what I was thinking. Tiefling is probably for conceptual what I would go with, just because of those score bonuses. Mm-hmm. Tie in the infernal like resistance, so they don't take as much fire damage, which is really nice. And the fact that they're generally hated throughout everywhere is also kind of makes sense with Snape. Mm-hmm. Even though people like Snape and trust him enough, our heroes don't like Snape. No. And that's really all that matters. As for the class, believe that was Warlock, correct?
Yep.
So, probably going to be Pact Boon of the Tome, right? And then Pact of the Great Old One, I believe is what it's called.
Yep.
Pact of the Tome gives you like extra spells. I don't know if it's spells or cantrips, but it gives you more things to cast, I'll say. I'll leave it at that. Do you want to go ahead and read through the Eldritch invocations for me?
Alright. As for the Eldritch invocations, they are as follows.
You want to read them off, and then I can try to remember what they are so people can laugh at me, and then you correct me if I'm wrong?
Cool.
There we go.
Agonizing Blast.
So that just makes it to where you can add your charisma modifier to Eldritch Blast, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Devil's Sight.
What does that one do? I don't remember.
Prevents you from being blind.
Oh, that's nice.
That is
especially
nice.
Since it's dark in all of the movies.
Mm-hmm. One with Shadows.
You can turn yourself invisible, right? Like when you're not moving in darkness, you can become invisible until you do something, right? Or is that a different one?
No, you can still move, just as long as you're inside of a shadow.
Until you take an action, though, right?
Or do an action.
Okay. If you pick that one, make sure that it says that you can still move, because I might have just left it out of the script.
Oh wait, no, I read it wrong. I'm stupid.
Yeah. Well, don't say that.
You become invisible when in shadows until move or an action.
Cool. Next.
Sign of Ill Omen.
Is that just like a curse thing?
Yeah, can cast bestow a curse once per long rest.
Nice. And the next one then follows up with it making your curses worse.
Yep.
What's it called?
Maddening Hex.
Maddening Hex. Is there anything else aside from just makes curses worse?
No.
Okay.
Just improves Sign of Ill Omen.
Yeah, it had something specific you could do. I think you chose an ability score or something. I don't remember exactly what it was though. You'll have to look into it. What's next?
Ghostly Gaze.
I'll probably have a brief description of all of these down in the description below, so you can read through them. But ghostly gaze, you said?
Yep.
So that make it to where you can see ghosts, or like ethereal objects, or can you see through things?
You can do both.
Both.
See through walls and see ghosts.
Okay, I think you can see through walls up to a distance of like 30-something feet. You can also see ghosts, which I would assume would also mean invisible objects up until 30 feet out.
Which site is next?
I don't remember what this one did at all.
Can see the true form of any shape changer.
It just kind of adds to the ghostly gaze.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nice.
And last is an influence of sorts with a starting of B.
Beguiling influence?
Yes.
What's it do?
Gain proof. So
Proficiency
in deception and persuasion.
Oh, I did that one. That one could probably be one of the first ones because I don't think there's a level requirement on it. Some of them had level requirements, so I did them in the order of their level requirements. Everything I listed you can get at that specific time. But Beguiling Influence, I think you can get earlier, and that's just good for charisma-based things, which is nice. Is there anything else we have, or did you finish it off for me?
That was everything there.
All right. Then that is all we had for you fine adventures today.
Oh, there's backstory.
See, why do you do this?
Well, I thought you were talking about the list of thingamaboobs.
I said, is there anything left? And you said no, and then you said there's backstory after I started my outro.
Okay, yeah, it's backstory.
Fine. We'll do backstory. You want to go ahead and read it off since you've done so well thus far, Chill?
Okay. Snape was a professor at Hogwarts with a real disdain.
Oh, spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1, continue.
It says there's no spoilers.
Oh, continue.
With a real disdain yet soft spot for Harry Potter. One year, the famed wizard shows up for class. This is where his story begins.
Yeah. I didn't remember if I had written, actual spoilers in there or not. And, yeah. Cool. Now, Chill, is there anything else that we have to do?
The outro.
Thank you. At least you tried. So yeah, that is all we have for you fine adventurers today. Feel free to leave a comment down below. As I said, I will go back through and add a few things for the specifics to the Eldritch invocations in the description below. Also, down in the description below, there will be links to my social media accounts. Make sure to check out my Discord and come hang out on Twitch if you feel so inclined. Aside from that, I will catch you all later.